Buffalo Bills are now 3-0 after their Thursday night victory over the Miami Dolphins, their division rival. Josh Allen now 8-0 in his career on Thursday nights. He is 21-7 in his career in primetime games. He is 15-2 in his career against the Miami Dolphins. Bills have now won 10 straight at home. For more reaction, we are joined by our Buffalo Bills reporter, Dave Naylor, who's at Highmark Stadium hanging out. Dave, great to see you. So the Bills were 12.5-point favorites at one point. They were 11.5-point favorites at one point. How did the Dolphins manage to keep this thing so close, Dave?
We got to talk about third down defense, Jay, because that is how the Dolphins kept this close. They were 10 of 15 on third downs tonight, and it really started on their very first drive, which they ran in for a touchdown. They were 3 for 3 on third downs in that drive, and this is an issue that goes back to last season for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills were 29th in third down defense last season, and that was something that was talked about a lot through the offseason, trying to improve that. It was one of the things that was not great against the Baltimore Ravens, but when you come from behind in the fashion that the Bills did and win the game, people don't talk about the third down defense in the aftermath of that one. But that was a huge part of this game. The Bills could not get off the field, and it allowed Miami to shorten the game, control the clock, play a quick pass game. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa averaged 4.3 yards per attempt. So the Bills weren't getting into the backfield. It was high percentage passes, running the ball. Buffalo had 3 possessions through the first half of the game. And when you're facing a Josh Allen offense, that's what you want to do. You want to limit the number of possessions, try to avoid turnovers, which they did for most of the game, control the clock, and stay patient. It was a valiant effort, but ultimately, bad teams make mistakes at the wrong time. The Zach Sealer running into the punter, which ultimately extended the Bills' drive that turned into the winning score. You have the interception thrown deep in Buffalo territory as they're driving for the tying score. It was a couple of plays. There was a difference in this one, but strategically, Miami played it very well and kept it a lot closer than most people expected.
And you mentioned turnovers, Dave. The Bills have become the masters of the turnover ratio. 25 straight games where they've won the turnover battle. How has that helped them so far this season? And can they continue to rely on that, Dave?
Well, here in Highmark Stadium, they've had 2 games that have come down to the fourth quarter, and both times they sealed the games because of turnovers. The Derrick Henry turnover in the Baltimore game, and, of course, Terrell Bernard's interception tonight of Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, for all the talk about John Harbaugh and, can he coach in the fourth quarter? I mean, running Derrick Henry between the tackles is about as safe as play is there in the NFL, but that turned into a turnover. And the Bills' lack of turnovers, they are yet to turn the ball over this season. And when people talk about Josh Allen's ascent to becoming perhaps the best quarterback in the NFL, the reigning MVP, it's about the great plays and the spectacular runs. But maybe the biggest difference in his game is ball security. I mean, last season, as a quarterback, Josh Allen had the best ball security season in NFL history, and they've carried that into this season. They used it a lot last year when their third down defense couldn't get them off the field. They relied on it tonight when their third down defense couldn't get them off the field. I think ultimately that's not a sustainable recipe over the course of a season. They got away through much of last season, but ultimately I think, again, bad matchup for them on this one just in terms of the third down defense because Tua is getting rid of the ball so quickly. And the Bills had a very effective pass rush against the New York Jets, but they weren't able to get into the backfield, didn't have a single sack, didn't get much pressure on Tua, and he did not throw the ball deep. I mean, you remember when Miami used to come into town and it was the Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill show and you're going to see the ball fired deep all night? Well, I mean, there was one legit deep shot thrown at Tyreek Hill tonight. There were a few deeper balls thrown to the sidelines, but this was a very different Miami offense. And ultimately, it was the one turnover on a pass they didn't have to make that proved the difference.
You mentioned the Miami offense. What about the Bills offense? Not the greatest night in history for the Bills offense. Who stood out for you in this one, Dave?
Well, I think James Cook, particularly in the first half, I mean, he was gashing for runs. I mean, he was getting 8, 10, 12 yards per carry at some point and really set the tone for the Bills when they were a little bit on their heels earlier in the game after Miami scored on the opening possession. And it felt like there were times in the second half that they were maybe a little too reliant on James Cook. I mean, he had 108 yards, but 19 carries. That's a high number for James Cook. And I say at times it felt like maybe they were staying a little conservative, relying on him too much. But I think when you look at the confidence that James Cook is running with this season, you see why the Bills feel so good about giving him the ball, whether it's short yardage or whether it's those gashing runs we saw in the first half. And Dalton Kincaid, 5 of 6, 6 targets, 5 catches. The one he didn't haul in should have been a touchdown. He led the team in receiving yards. And look, this is a big season for Dalton Kincaid. This guy was a first-round pick in 23. He had a huge rookie year, one of the great tight end rookie seasons in NFL history, and then didn't live up to expectations last year. At the end of the year, they talked about maybe he needed to get stronger. There are questions about whether he can stay healthy. He's had 4 catches in all 3 games for the Bills so far. So I think one of the real positive developments from early on this season is what Dalton Kincaid has shown, kind of picking up maybe where he left off in year number 1 and leaving year number 2 behind.
Bills now have 10 days off before they face guaranteed win territory in the New Orleans Saints. Dave, does that mean you have 10 days off too?
No, Jay, it doesn't. It does. I might not get a day off in the next 10.
I understand. But you deserve it, Dave. That's Dave Naylor, our Bills reporter.
But I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
I love it too.